I continue. In this version that I just presented in the second part, the problem is, unlike many formulations of Fisher's problem, smoking problem, not vulnerable to the so-called tickle defense. What is the tickle defense? The tickle defense is based on some subjective wish of the agent. A smoker's wish to continue to smoke may indicate the presence of the fatal genetic disposition for or to the habit of smoking and lung cancer, which is why he or she who would like to smoke, which is why he or she might as well continue to smoke, because she or he has the bad condition or disposition. But now in my problem, any subjective tickle which could serve as evidence for the one or other genetic disposition is ruled out in the present special case, in my case, where homophobia is an external condition most unlikely to reflect a personal bias in our adolescent male. At the beginning, the adolescent male may be evenly bisexual. Of course, not every male is at some point in their lives evenly bisexual, but there are some who are, and if they also are accidentally infertile and live in a homophobic environment and think that you ought to multiply or that people ought to multiply, then a dilemma arises to those individuals. Something that the reviewer of the Journal of Evolutionary Psychology did not understand either. He reproached me for assuming that every male or all males in the beginning are bisexual, something I claim nowhere. Moreover, the dilemma's soundness would not be diminished by the possible fact that Camperio Ciani's explanation applies only to a percentage Q of the occurrence of human male homosexuality. Yes, there may be other explanations for homosexuality or other factors that also contribute to homosexuality, and this is just one factor. The Camperio Ciani theory is just one factor that leads to homosexuality. But even if it applies only to some percentage, maybe to, I don't know, 20, 30, 10% of the occurrence of human male homosexuality, it's not necessarily an objection to there being a dilemma, arising a dilemma. Given Camperio Ciani's evidence, the external parameters of the game situation, and the subject's preferences, it is clear that becoming homosexual still increases the animal's hope that his family will be larger than average, unless a secure criterion for determining whether or not, if you should turn homosexual, you will belong to that Q fraction be at hand, and unless a similar genetic fecundity booster be present in the relatives of at least the Q part of heterosexual males, where the latter would, however, be utterly incompatible with the general evidence of homosexual males' maternal female relatives, and only these being significantly more fecund than those or any other relatives of heterosexual males. It was just the correlation that was found. How could it be possible that there is a Q part of heterosexual males who also have have more than average fecundity in their maternal female relatives, if Camperio Ciani empirically found out that that there is much more fecundity in maternal female relatives of gay males than in maternal female relatives of straight males and other other differences, significant differences, were not found in the families, in the family trees. And to the criterion, and where the discovery of that criterion, that or through which you can determine whether or not, if you should turn homosexual, you will belong to the Q fraction. If that criterion is discovered, then that would most likely merely reduce the number of dilemma cases, but not necessarily kill the dilemma altogether. There may then be some dilemma cases left. Maybe for some you can say, well, if you turn homosexual, you will not, the explanation of Camperio Ciani, the crazy about men gene, will not be applicable to you. Then this case is out of the dilemma group. But for those who fulfill the criterion, the dilemma remains there. If they have the criterion that says, well, if you are homosexual, then you are homosexual because of that Camperio Ciani factor, that this will have done it, then you have the dilemma. The dilemma case, you are a dilemma case because of the argument presented above. I will now present some kind of mathematical analysis of the thing, or semi-mathematical or probability theoretic analysis. We can thus construct the following game theoretic model of the situation. Let P be a probability function. Let C1 to Cn be choices of the agent, S1 to Sn states of affairs relevant to the decision, whose payoffs are given by a utility function U. Oh, I'm sorry, I should pull that together. U of two arguments. The utility of the state C of the of the choice C1 with the state of affairs S obtaining. The specific choices which are exhaustive and exclusive are becoming heterosexual, that is C1, and becoming homosexual, C2. The relevant exhaustive exclusive states of affairs are S1, the genetic factors for female fecundity and male homosexuality are not present, and S2, the genetic factors for female fecundity and male homosexuality are present. I'll show you the table. There it is. Decision matrix for the dilemma. Let me check the time again. Yes, a quick description of the decision matrix for the dilemma. Here are the choices. The agent becomes heterosexual. C2, the agent becomes homosexual. S1, genetic factors for female fecundity and male homosexuality are not present. S2, genetic factors for female fecundity and male homosexuality are present. There you have that Q probability. Given the choice of, or if it is a choice, it's a choice in inverted commas, given the choice of becoming homosexual, you have a probability of S2, the genetic factors are present, you have a probability of Q, and here 1 minus Q. And well, you may pause and or take a break and see or study the table. I will talk about the payoffs in the main text, which will be continued in the next part.